Joey Acoin lives in Tampa, Florida, where he owns and operates a landscaping company.
I tell everybody, the joke with everybody with me is, I don't eat to live, I live to eat. And my whole life, I ate whatever I wanted.
In 2004, doctors discovered Joey had a dangerously high cholesterol level of 320 and a hazardous blood sugar level of 480. This not only made him a type 2 diabetic, but a prime candidate for a heart attack and a stroke.
And this is my daily pill regimen. I got 2 pills I take for my diabetes, then I got 1 for cholesterol, 1 for high blood pressure, and then I take Byetta, which is an injectable medicine, every morning before breakfast and every night before dinner. And that's what I've been doing for almost 4 years now. And I know it makes me tired, and I just don't feel normal. I only sleep 4 hours a night or so. I just hate taking them.
So went through your preliminary form. The goals that I have, tell me if I'm missing any from you, were eliminate your shots and medicines. You want to get off this stuff. You want to sleep well at night. You're not doing that. You want to stop feeling tired and run down. You want to lose weight.
That's it. You got it.
Those are your goals. The other complaints, you had low energy, ringing in the ears, sinus problems, postnasal drip, shortness of breath, wheezing, coughs, indigestion and reflux, loose stool, diarrhea, bloating, black and bloody mucousy stool with meat consumption, and difficulty walking, getting around, trouble losing weight, chronic and unpleasant hunger feelings, groggy after meals, strong food cravings, and anxiety about food in general. All of that stuff.
Sounds like I'm dead.
So I don't mean to, harp on the bad stuff, but, that will all, most of that should get better. My goals I'm adding in.
Which goals do you add?
I want you to reverse all your medical diseases, the ones that we can reverse, and most of yours we could. I told you all the risk and benefit. Based on what I told you, I would stop all these meds, and I would stop these on top of all these risks.
That's what I'm going to try. You're going to get my best effort, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you'll do good.
Okay.
You'll do well.
Sandera Nation lives in a quiet suburb in Cleveland, Ohio, with her 5 children. In October 2008, she was stricken by a strange illness.
I want to say something, but it's not coming out. I'm getting really shaky and sweats, and then I'm cold and I'm sick and I'm fatigued and my stomach hurts and everything, so I went to the doctor. And that's when they diagnosed me with hypertension and diabetes.
Like Joey Acoin, Sandera was treated with expensive prescription drugs.
I was in denial for a while. I heard what they said, but I was in denial, like, I still ate things I shouldn't have. I didn't really get the education that I needed to know, so I really depended on that pill to save me.
Then Sandera met with Dr. Esselstyn, who recommended that she treat her illnesses with a whole foods, plant-based diet.
Let's come on in and we'll get to work.
I was a little nervous, but he made it real easy for me. I was real interested in what he had to say and what he was going to teach me in the new journey that I would be taking with him.
So mangoes are really good. They flavor things really
Okay.
nicely. That's something you want to get a riper one.
Dr. Matt Letterman and his wife, Dr. Alona Pulde, are among a small but growing number of physicians who use a whole foods, plant-based diet as a primary treatment for their patients. From shopping with patients to teach them how to read nutrition labels.
And I don't care what it says on the front, the back, or the sides.
Look at the ingredients, okay.
And that's all I care about.
To showing patients how to prepare meals. They are not your typical MDs. Doctors Letterman and Pulde use food as treatment because they feel it's the best medicine available. Medicine that not only makes their patients feel better, but that truly improves their health. One of the most gravely ill patients was a 59-year-old speech and communications teacher, Evelyn Oswick.
Ate all the chocolate candy I could eat, ate every donut I could put my hands on. Oh, I just love things like that, a lot of gravy. And then I have had 2 heart attacks before I met Dr. Esselstyn. When I had the second heart attack, the doctor said, that I should prepare for death, really, is what he said. And I looked at him and I said, do you really mean that what you want me to do is buy a rocking chair and just sit there and rock away and wait? And he just looked at me and he said, yes, that's just exactly what I'm saying.
Anthony Yen was born and raised in China.
And we were eating typical Chinese cultural diet. A very small piece of meat, but they slice it, and so it was for flavor rather than in American style. When you eat a large, great big piece of meat, which you could easily feed the whole family in China. And we eat a lot of vegetable in China, and we have soup. But once I came to the United States, you find beginning to experience fast food, hamburgers and cheeseburgers, pizza, and I noticed my weight began to gain.
When Mr. Yin was 56 years old, he suddenly experienced severe chest pains.
At that time, I had an open heart surgery. I have 5 bypass, 5. But it was very interesting. About a week later, I felt my chest tighten up again.
Yet one of Esselstyn's most remarkable success stories involved a colleague of his at the Cleveland Clinic, Dr. Joseph Crow.
Actually, I was active, healthy, very busy, mid-40s, absolutely no risk factors at all for any heart problem.
But Dr. Crow, even with what was considered to be a healthy cholesterol level, was actually ravaged by heart disease. This angiogram, taken after his first nearly fatal heart attack in 1996, shows how badly damaged one of his coronary arteries was. This angiogram was done after less than 3 years of entirely dietary treatment. Dr. Crow is fortunate. In 25% of cases, sudden death is the first and only sign of coronary artery disease. Of Dr. Esselstyn's original 18 patients, all survived the initial 12 years of the study. Today, 14 patients are still alive, over 2 decades after the study began.
The thing about Essie, although he's always very pleasant, when you said, I'm going to be on this program and I'm going to stay with this diet, you stayed with the diet or there was the door. You had no choice. I mean, his smiles are wonderful, but he is very stern, you know. That's why I'm still living. But, you know, he's just a wonderful man.
And I look at the pictures, some of my pictures years ago, 20 years ago, actually looks older than today. The only thing is I lost more hair, you know.
Anthony and the other male patients also noted another change.
When you're young, when you're a teenager, you see a female and so on, it gets kind of excited. And the first reaction physically, you know, it gets attention, you know. Raise the flag, I call it. This happened to us. All the other Dr. Esselstyn's, I call them all the guinea pigs. The flag still rises.
After 8 weeks eating plant-based foods, Joya Coyne was still off all his medications.
When I started this, I had all these side effects from medication and from my being so unhealthy. But now I'm getting in better shape every day. I feel more healthy. I very seldom get tired during the day. I just feel so good all the time. This is a scale that I weigh myself on, and it started about 8 weeks ago, way up here around 218, 220, and now it's bouncing between 180 and 185. None of my belts fit. This one here, I actually had to have 2 new holes punched in because I like the belt so much. Nothing fits. I got to go shopping. It's just everything, all my clothes. A good problem to have.
It's been fun for him because I think he's learned, in addition to the fact that he's seeing such great results, that he loves it.
I don't think
He
he'll
is-
go back to this old
No.
ways. He
Right.
feels too good,
Yeah.
and he likes. I mean, even if he started to eat, go off a little bit,
Right.
he feels too good. His energy's too good. He looks younger,
And the fact that he would have to go back on all the meds, you know, if he did,
Right.
I think that that's a huge motivation for him to maintain the lifestyle.
Dr. Campbell's research led him to a conclusion about the way genes, chemicals, and nutrition interact to promote cancer. Campbell fed half the rats in his study a diet of 20% casein, the main protein in dairy products. The other half was fed only 5% casein. Over the 12 weeks of the study, the rats eating the higher protein diet had a greatly enhanced level of early liver cancer tumor growth. On the other hand, all of the rats eating only 5% protein had no evidence of cancer whatsoever. But Dr. Campbell decided to take these findings a step further. This time, instead of keeping his test rats on the same diet throughout the study, he kept them in one group and switched their diets back and forth, between 5 and 20% dairy protein, doing so at 3-week intervals. The results were astonishing. Whenever the rats were fed 20% protein, early liver tumor growth exploded. But when the same rats were given 5% protein, tumor growth actually went down.
I mean, this was so provocative, this information. We could turn on and turn off cancer growth just by adjusting the level of intake of that protein. Cancer starts with genes. It might be genes we're born with, it might be genes that are actually changed by a chemical. So those genes become capable of producing cancer cells. Whether we do or don't get cancer is primarily related to how we promote those cancer cells to grow over time. That's where nutrition comes into play. They go much more rapidly when they were fed animal protein.
Even more surprisingly, Dr. Campbell discovered that a 20% diet of plant proteins from soybeans and wheat did not promote cancer. Over the next several years, Dr. Campbell initiated more extensive lab studies using various animal and plant nutrients. The results were consistent. Nutrients from animal foods promoted cancer growth, while nutrients from plant foods decreased cancer growth.
I had been a runner for 14 years, in fact, a marathoner. 47 years old, at the top of my game.
In 1982, Ruth Heydrich's running career came to a sudden stop when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. After a mastectomy, her doctors recommended chemotherapy and radiation to treat the cancer that had by then spread to her lungs and bones. Ruth decided to visit Dr. John McDougall instead.
And I said, Ruth, I've spent my residency collecting information on diet and breast cancer. It's all in these files right here. Sit in my office and read through it and see what you think.
He said, these are the studies that show what I'm trying to prove is that diet can reverse breast cancer.
And she read it, and she comes out and she says, okay, I've changed my diet. She changed her diet.
So he showed me how to eat, no added oils, lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains.
Ruth then started training for the Ironman Triathlon in Hawaii, which combines running a marathon with long-distance biking and swimming.
I became obsessed. Kept up the running, of course, never stopped, and then added swimming, biking, and for good measure, lifted weights. And people were saying, you're crazy. You're a cancer patient. You should be resting. Doctors told me this. I felt so good. I felt fit, and I wanted to maintain that level of fitness. And I felt sure that if I had a healthy body and I was putting the right food into it, that I could beat this cancer.
At the Ironman Triathlon, Ruth won a gold medal in her age group.
Stuck with the diet, found out my arthritis disappeared, my constipation disappeared, my dandruff disappeared. No sign of depression, which you might expect with a cancer diagnosis. I felt renewed, invigorated, and out to show that diet is so much more important than anybody ever thought.
Other women get over breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. There are people who have had metastatic prostate cancer all over their body who have gone through what we call spontaneous remission. In other words, they've been cured. And it's not the end of the world when you get this diagnosis. Some people get over it. Ruth did.
So I'm still racing, still daily training. Now, how many people in their 70s are doing triathlons? Not very many. So that gives hope for all of us as we age, that not only will you stay healthy and beat the degenerative diseases that most people get, but you can start collecting medals.
After 13 weeks on a whole foods plant-based diet, it was time to get my results from Dr. Letterman.
When you started, your weight was 231 pounds,
Right.
now 211 pounds.
Okay, that's
It's a 20-pound drop there.
Wow.
Your blood pressure was 142/82 when you started. It's now 112/70.
Wow,
All right.
that's a big drop,
That's a nice drop. Oh yeah, that's great. And it'll just keep dropping as you continue to do
awesome.
this. Your pulse was resting at 92 when you started. It's now down to 60 resting.
Okay, cool.
Your total cholesterol, though, went from 241 down to 154.
What?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. 241 down to 154.
154?
154, yeah. It's really, and your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, I think this is the most impressive, went from 157 down to 80.
No way!
Yeah, that's amazing, though, to drop almost in half. We did CRP last time, which is sort of the marker of the inflammation in the heart and the blood vessels, and that went from 6.0 down to 2.8.
Without using any medications, I significantly reduced my chances of getting a heart attack and many other diseases.
Tomorrow marks 20 weeks on the program. I've lost 45 pounds. I've reversed the diabetes.
You have to know that everybody is so incredibly proud of what you've done.
I don't have to rely on the medication. I have a lot of energy that I didn't have before. My children love it. They're so proud of me, and they tell me all the time. I had a little saying that I've carried around for maybe the last 2 years, and it's win the war. Do not let one lost battle end the war. If you do break down and give in to temptation, do not quit. Just get right back on track. Not tomorrow, but right now. The diabetes is not coming back. I'm not going to let it come back, nor the weight. The message is you're in control of your life.
Joey Coyne had over 24 health problems, including type 2 diabetes. But after 22 weeks eating plant-based foods, his condition had changed dramatically.
Hey, how you doing?
Back again.
And you're getting healthier. Your weight is down 28 pounds. You feel better than you have. 26 out of 27 complaints are gone completely. Your marker of inflammation in the vessels is down to that of a normal person. Your blood sugars are coming down. They continue to come down even on a daily basis, which are going to get better. Your cholesterol is significantly lower than it was when you first started, before you ever started taking any pills. Your blood pressure is normal now compared to how it was before. While on pills, it was still elevated. And you just said you've never felt like this before. You look at how you look in the pictures. You look healthier. So, like I told you before, I explained how the numbers can affect our judgment of what real health is. And it's not just the numbers, it's overall the entire picture. And your picture looks fantastic.
I was taking 9 pills a day and 2 shots. So I was spending almost $150 to $200 a month on medication, above my insurance. Just think about that. I've been doing it 5 months. I've saved, $800 to $1,000 already because I haven't taken 1 pill, 1 shot. So think about what that saved me, not just me, the insurance company.
Only 2 months into her treatment, Sandera was experiencing dramatic effects on her type 2 diabetes and hypertension.
Since I've been on a plant-based diet, blood pressure's been wonderful. My blood sugars are in the 80s. It shocks me, 70s. And so I was alarmed when it was 60. I'm like, isn't that bad? It's 60, and I talked to the diabetes educator, which is wonderful. She's like, no, that's a normal blood sugar. Your pancreas is working, it's reversing.
Ironically, Sandera works at an outpatient facility for diabetics. Yet the treatment that was achieving success with her diabetes came from outside the established medical system. The positive results went far beyond Sandera's chronic diseases.
Mentally, not having the sluggishness, the fear of the disease progressing, because I feel I'm in control and I have power of taking it back the right way now. So mentally, I feel great. I'm eating the things I should eat. And the one thing that is true that Ann said to me, you really start tasting the real taste of what you're eating. Because I eat a peach and you would think, I was in heaven with my white peaches. I get to eat. And it feels good to be able to eat, bringing the sugar down, you losing the weight, your whole everything changes. You know, I think we're a little dependent on, you know, our doctors and the medications. We should take a little bit more responsibility in checking out for ourselves.
And speaking of doctors and medications, how does Sandera's regular physician feel about her new lifestyle?
When I recently approached her about my blood sugars being so great, my question was, should I not take my medication? And she said, no, you still take your medications. And she said, what is that doctor trying to do? Take you off your medications? And I'm looking like, yeah, I'm hoping that's the goal. So there's still people we have to make believers. Yeah.
The greatest gift that you could possibly give to yourself and your family, not only those in your generation, but your children and your grandchildren, if you can make them be aware of the incredible power that resides within each of them to avoid life's most poignantly tragic and painful events. You just don't have to have those kinds of events.
I believe it with all my heart. If anyone listens to this, and they really should look at their refrigerator and look at their diet and give it a try. You lose weight and you'll be healthier. Nothing could lose if you just take a few weeks and try. You could see how easy it is.
I'm not going to say it was difficult. Again, I made up my mind. This is what I'm going to do. I never felt like I wasn't getting what I wanted. So I didn't have ice cream. So I didn't have the donuts. So I ate something else.
I can thank them in every way I can think possible, and my doctor, especially Matt, when they just can't understand what it's done to change my life. And it really has, not just mine, my family's, everybody's. It gives me shivers talking about it because it's so serious. It's a life-changing experience.
You can be in control. And I stress this because there's so many things going on in my life that I'm not in control of. And that's my message. You can't control your outcome of your body. Eat to live and don't live to eat.
You better get that. You better get that recipe.